Oh. Saira. Just to recollect what we were discussing last week, Swami talked about Vishada Yoga, how a Vishadam or despondency itself can become yoga. Then Swami also talked about various yogas which are covered in the Bhagavad Gita. And he said that a universal form of, which shouldn't be confused with what commonly known as yoga, Swami said. And he also said that a universal path of spirituality or yoga should be something which can be practiced by everyone. Then also Swami was talking about the fact that no one has been able to unravel the mystery of the Gita. Even the greatest of scholars and people who have written commentaries have not been able to unravel the mystery of the Gita. That was also we discussed. I think what Swami is trying to say is that the Bhagavad Gita is as big as the ocean, and even the greatest luminaries. But there are many great people who have written bhashyas, the commentaries on the Gita. But I think Swami wants to drive home the point that don't think that you can easily grasp what Gita says. So that we have to be always open to learn more and more, because when great learned people have not been able to grasp it, it will be tough for us also. And also it means that, I think it's for us to realize that, because sometimes we tend to compare lectures and pravachanams or, talks by other people on the Gita, and we think we can learn something, and sometimes it appeals to our mind through a Western educated mind. Swami is sort of making a reference to that also. And we get carried away thinking that we have understood the Gita. But Swami has taken pains to come down among us and write it in a way we can understand. And so he wants us to know the value of what he is trying to teach us also, I think. So those are some of the thoughts which ran through in my mind, recollecting what was discussed last week. So with that, I think I will ask Sister Kalyan to continue from where we left off. Sai Ram.
Krishna uses the word yoga many times in the Gita. The state of the individual jivi during yoga is also described. Yet a doubt may arise in the minds of those who have read the Gita that there is no agreement between the word as used ordinarily and as used by Krishna. Krishna has extolled detachment, vairagya, in some places. In other places, he has declared that the highest freedom can be earned by worship. He also elaborates on various methods of attaining the supreme state of spiritual bliss. In the 8th discourse, there is an account of the royal yoga, Raja Yoga. But it is not right to say that the Gita is a text that teaches the royal yoga. Complete surrender to Lord Krishna, freedom from the threefold shackles that bind one with the external world of objects, and observance of good deeds and virtuous disciplines. These are the principal truths underlined in the Gita. The Lord holds these forth as the best forms of training and the deepest secrets of inner progress. The real meaning of the Gita is not grasped by all. Reputed scholars and writers, although gifted with rare intelligence, have failed to unravel the mystery of its message. Commentators speak of the principle of perfect balance amidst all change, or of the achievement of freedom as more important than anything else. On the other side, Others compare the Gita with the philosophical texts of the West, with which they are familiar, and start teaching young minds in that strain. Of course, full renunciation is highly desirable, but only a very small number can practice it. If a certain spiritual teaching has to gain universal acceptance, it must have disciplines that can be practiced and experienced by everyone in daily life and its activities.
Thank you very much. So I will open up. Actually, we had briefly discussed, I know, maybe exhaustively discussed these 3 paragraphs last week, but if there's anything which anyone would like to share, please go ahead.
Sairam.
Sairam Auntie.
Swami here is saying he has declared that the highest freedom can be earned by worship. That is here, Swami, what he means. I hope highest freedom is the moksha, or the release from the cycle of birth and death. Is that Swami wants to tell that highest freedom can be earned by worship from Bhakti Yoga?
I think I think the word freedom, I think Swami is talking about mukti. And so this mukti or the liberation, I think there are 4 kinds which all of us have learned, which is Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sayujya. In the Sayujya only, there's complete merger. Again, the word yuj, the root word yuj also comes in that. So I think Sayujya is complete merger without any trace, the divine, which is, I think Swami in other places, Swami has spoken of it as the complete, the final or the highest form of freedom.
Final release from
everything.
He talks about highest freedom. Now that is freedom for the soul.
Yes. What is Swami saying in Telugu, Auntie? In Telugu version, you?
Yeah, I think. తీక్ష్ణమైన మనసుతో కూడా either he also says వైరాగ్యముల ఘనతను స్వాతంత్రమునందు ఇష్టముతో చూపెట్టు. That is for the other paragraph where.
Yeah, so just after vairagyam, I think Geetha lo Krishna Paramatma, I think is that
from there. Which paragraph you mean? తీక్ష్ణమైన మనసుతో.
The yoga pada Swami is talking about, so see, that's a paragraph which starts anti Geetha lo Krishna Paramatma.
there, yeah. పలుమార్లు యోగం అనే పదమును ఉపయోగించుచున్నప్పుడు యోగ అవస్థ లేక సంయోగములో జీవుని పరిస్థితిని వర్ణించి చెప్పినప్పటికీ సామాన్య మానవులు అర్థం చేసుకొని యోగ పదము. That is, we last year time also we mentioned yoga is
no agreement. So just after that, I think
గీతను జాగ్రత్తముగా చదివిన వారి మనసులో ఒక విధమైన సందేహము ఉదయించవచ్చు. కృష్ణుడు కొన్ని వేళల్లో వైరాగ్యాన్ని శ్లాఘించినాడు మరియు అత్యున్నత స్వాతంత్రము. దట్స్ వాట్ అత్యున్నత స్వాతంత్రము, పురుష భేదము లేని దైవార్పణములు. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ పురుష భేదములోని
భేదములేని, I mean there's no distinction, is it?
దైవార్పణల వలననే సంఘటితమని సూచించినాడు.
I think Swami, that's not even translated.
పురుష భేదము లేని దైవార్పణల వలననే సంఘటితమని సూచించినాడు. Here what he means, there is no caste or creed, anything like that.
Yes,
is that
no separate, no distinction.
No distinction
Of human,
human. Daivarpanamalu,
offering to the Lord.
One who surrenders to Lord. సంఘటితమని సూచించినాడు. Yeah. There is no agreement between, that's fine in some places. In other places, he has declared that highest freedom. He also elaborates on various methods of attaining the supreme state of bliss.
Yes,
So,
that's what, yeah.
That is, it is written. But here, specifically Swami is mentioning.
Even the next paragraph, he's talking about bhakti, auntie, but it is not translated. Bhakti valana
సర్వోత్కృష్టమైన స్థితిని పొందుటకు అనేక మార్గములు అర్జునునికి విశదీకరించి చెప్పెను. సర్వోత్కృష్టమైన స్థితి, the supreme bliss, to attain that.
Yes.
So Krishna has what I meant was swatantram here means only from this samsara bandhanam.
Okay, so if everyone is okay, we can move on to the next slide. So our brother Thasan has raised his hand.
Yes.
Brother.
Sairam, brother. I like to add here something about the freedom. So if you are in the body consciousness, then most of the people who are highly learned people, they think their freedom is body consciousness. You have to come out with that one. You have to think we are Atma. When you realize that you are Atma, you are the Paramatma, then you will understand the freedom, real freedom. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, this is Aku auntie.
Yes,
I have a question. I don't know whether I am too late to ask you. The threefold shackles which bind one with the external world of objects. Can you please help me there?
I think last week we discussed this, auntie, as the three gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what our understanding is. Auntie, in Telugu, that's the same thing they have to, Swami has told, auntie. It's,
Yeah.
Brother, okay, go ahead, please.
Go ahead, please go ahead. I have to read.
Okay, I am trying to understand if a certain spiritual teaching has to gain universal acceptance, what is that really meant by that? Why there's a universal acceptance is needed when you are saying the connection between you and God?
okay, good.
Yeah.
Anyone would like to comment on it? What is Swami trying to tell us there? See, I will, auntie, you can read the Telugu for that also, but Sister Aruna, just wait, okay? Auntie is looking at the...
Yeah. This particular question which Aruna asked.
Yes. No, auntie, you were already looking for something. Have you?
We were looking
threefold.
for
The threefold.
Threefold shackles that bind one. There is no mention of it at all here in Telugu.
Yeah. Okay.
Freedom. Let me read. Swadharmamunu శౌర్యవంతముగా నిర్వహించుట ఎనునది సర్వోన్నత ధర్మమే గాని విధి అనగా ఏమి? ఈ సందిగ్ధ సమస్య సంబంధమైన మతమునకు నైతిక విధానమునకు మధ్య అటువంటి వివాదం ఒకటి.
I think no. I think you had to little earlier, auntie.
Little earlier. There we come to that point where Aruna asked.
Yes, that one. Early before that, actually, Swami is talking about. If you can go a little earlier, and from that point you can write. Oka matamu vishwa. That's what Swami is talking about.
That is Varuna's question.
Yes.
తీక్ష్ణమైన మనసుతో కూడా గీత యొక్క గూఢా తాత్పర్యమును చెప్పలేకపోయినారు. ఒకవైపు వ్యాఖ్యానకర్తలు భగవద్గీతలోని ఏక సిద్ధాంతమును, వైరాగ్యముల ఘనతను, స్వాతంత్రమునందు ఇష్టముతో చూపెట్టిరి. మరి ఒక వైపు పాశ్చాత్య వేదాంత మనందలి నైపుణ్యతకు సమకట్టి యువ మనస్సులను ప్రబోధింపనారంభించింది. That that Swami has said that people have taken up the task of explaining Bhagavad Gita to younger children, and they have influenced their minds in that way.
Yes.
That is written here. And then, coming to Aruna's question, oka matamu విశ్వ సమ్మతము పొందవలనంటే ప్రతి ఒక్కరూ తన జీవితంలోనూ తన స్వకర్మ విధానంలోనూ సాక్షాత్తుగా అనుభవించి తెలుసుకొనగలిగినటువంటి వేద విహిత శాస్త్ర సమ్మతమైన ఆదర్శములను నియములను కలిగి ఉండవలను. Swami is what he is saying is Bhagavad Gita is accepted by all. By the universal, the acceptance is there for Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because Krishna has suggested some. Yeah, please go ahead.
Because Swami has used the word matamu. For Swami saying okka matamu vishwa sammatamu pondavalena. Adane auntie Chariya. No, you are muted, auntie.
Don't take matam as religion. No.
Yeah, no, but exactly, I understand. But matam is a belief system.
Opinion.
You can say, a belief system. See, the word matam is, if you want, I think that's what is being translated as teaching here. So, see, what Swami is telling, because you can't come up with a good translation for the word matam. Unfortunately, where in some places where Swami has used the word matam, they have translated it as cult.
No,
in some places that's a very, very bad translation.
Very bad.
But in India, a cult means a religious system is called a cult in a positive way. But in the West, actually, it has received a very bad negative meaning. But basically, a belief system is, I think, sister, better to say. A belief system is matam. Okay, you can see the word. Auntie doesn't want me to use the word religion, because it has certain connotations. But I think if you say if one belief system is to be universally acceptable, or a collection of teachings, if it's universally acceptable, it should cater to everyone, is what I think Swami is saying. It is, I think, the way I look at it, sister, is, if there's a department store, whoever wants anything can go and buy. But if you have a store which only sells either groceries or clothing or books or stationery, then that's a specialized store. So not everyone can go and get whatever they want. So I think what Swami is trying to say here is Gita provides support and guidance for every single person universally. So anyone can take the Gita and find what they individually need in the Gita. So as a complete text, as a religious text, it gives guidance for everyone.
Yeah.
That is my understanding.
Yes, that makes sense. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you.
And I think Swami has used, auntie, for the threefold shackle, Swami has used the word Trivida Dasyamula.
Where is it written?
If you go to the paragraph which says Bhakti Valana, Sarvotkrishtamaina, if you come about 3-4 lines below.
Okay, there, Ashtamadhyayana.
It's a line which starts as
Bhakti Valana.
In that paragraph, if you come to Samatvamu, Pratyekata, Karma Phala,
Purna Atmarpana, Prakriti Yoka Pradana Trivida Dasimula. Exactly. This is a threefold shackles.
Trivida Dasyamula
Nundi Vimukti. So yes, exactly. What we are saying, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva and Rajas,
Yes,
Tamas.
yes.
This is the
So they have translated the Dasya Mula as the shackles.
shackles. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
If everyone is okay, maybe we can.
We can.
Sairam, brother. So I like to
Yes.
add one more things under the universal acceptance. In Gita, if you read the Gita, it doesn't say Hinduism. So it doesn't promote the Hindu. So if we take the Bible, they talk about Christianity. If we talk the Islam, they talk about Allah and everything. Here, it doesn't talk about anything. It's a universal acceptance. So it talk about words to deeds and how to surrender everything, how you can get out. You are not the doer. So those kind of things is talking about. Because of that, maybe they are talking about universal acceptance. Thank you, Saira.
Sairam, Sairam.
Sairam, I also thought about around this, the last sentence. In order to be a universal acceptance, regardless of what level of education, or even not necessarily worldly education, spiritual education, what level they are at, regardless of those, they should be able to practice and experience. Then only it would be received that sort of universal acceptance. That's why, even though Goli Gita, it's a Hindu, the holy script, or the Hindu religion, based on Hindu religion, it's accepted because this is an art of living rather than the spiritual teaching. The Gita provides every inch of that text is the how to live a life with unity, with absolute surrender, or how to live a life to elevate yourself to the other level. Because of that art of living, I believe it has received that sort of universal acceptance. Brother Tasan already beautifully mentioned that regardless of religion, this concept can be applied any country, any religion, that concept, it will fit into every religion, without having, that's why even Russia, China, India, all over the places, they, translated the Goli Gita and apply these techniques, to elevate their, maybe the spiritual level, or even the how to live a life, in a best, this way of, it has given the really good the techniques, I would say, the art of living and how to live a life technique this holy text provides. That's why it has this sort of great universal acceptance. Otherwise, we have had, even in Hindu, there are so many other scriptures, they could be much more powerful than this one, but because of this, the technique and the nature, this has given that sort of universal acceptance. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Okay, if all are okay, then we will proceed. Sister Kalyani.
The highest dharma is for each one to follow their own dharma boldly. Regarding this problem, there is a conflict between religion and morals. It is difficult, fraught with danger. Gahana karmanogati, says the Lord, speaking of moral discipline. Which act is legitimate? Which is not? Which act is sanctioned by morals? Which is not? People have struggled and are struggling to decide these. However, in the following verses, Krishna mentioned the type of acts that are worthy. Fix thy thought on me. Be devoted to me. Worship me. Do homage to me, and thou shalt reach me. The truth do I declare to thee, for thou art dear to me. This is my teaching, my grace. This is the path to come to me. Give up all dharmas, surrender to me. Do not grieve. I shall liberate you from the consequences of all your acts.
Thank you very much. Oh, there's two more words.
Uncle, maybe you can read that.
Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma sucha. The translation is already there above, but Swami is just. So Swami is talking about. Swami has used the word. Swami is about religion also here.
Where?
Auntie, regarding this problem, there's a conflict between religion and morals.
Sandigdha samasya bandhamana matamanaku. There he insists.
Here, the matam has been translated as religion here.
Well, yeah, it is religion here.
Okay. So basically, Swami is saying, first Swami starts out saying, the highest dharma is for each one to follow their own dharma boldly.
Swadharma.
Yeah. Swadharma munu.
Shauryavantamuga nirvahinchuta.
Boldly, boldly means with courage. So then Swami says that's the highest dharma. Okay, and then he goes on to say, regarding this problem, there's a conflict between religion and morals.
Morals. Yeah.
Then that is Sandigdha samasya. What does it say?
Sandigdha samasya sambandhamaina matamanaku. Naitika vidhanamanako madhya atvanti vivadami okati kaladu.
The Swami says between religious following, auntie, what shall I say that?
Religious.
So Swami is saying there's always an argument or a debate or conflict between those two. Because what is right, what is wrong? And then Swami uses the word gahana karmona gati. And Swami, auntie, Swami is telling two things. I don't think they are translated. Anaga karyas vidhanamu.
Sandramainadi, Krishtamainadi. Bhagawan.
What is Sandram? Can you translate Sandramainadi, Krishtamainadi?
Sandramainadi is very Sandramante. Krishtamainadi, of course, difficult. Sandramainadi ante, it's very heavy.
Heavy. So I think that's why they are translated as it is difficult and fraught with danger.
Fraught with danger.
Krishtamainadi, fraught with danger.
Fraught with danger.
Difficult.
Difficult.
So Swami is telling, even trying to find out what is dharma and what is not dharma is very, very difficult to understand.
You can use some example from, religious dictum says, do this. Sometimes moral doesn't allow that to do. Can we have some example like?
In the modern day world, the conflict has been increasing, auntie. What the religion says, it will say it is not equality, it is not this, it's not democratic. All that comes. Those are principles which people think are moral principles, and religious practices seems to be going counter to that.
Counter to that.
It is a discussion. Why everywhere, even in our own organization, people are debating. Is this practice democratic? Why is this universally acceptable? Things like that. The debates have been going on, because everyone wants to have an opinion on what is dharma, and they will say it's all adharmic. What Swami said also can become adharmic. So because it's very difficult. So then there are two schools now. One school says this is what Swami has said, we have to follow. It may be by they're going by the text, literal. But then this debate rages, and that's why Swami has explained Gahana Karmano Gati.
Yeah.
The way
You follow your moral principles.
Yeah.
It's quite difficult and fraught with danger.
Okay.
Sairam,
Which act is sanctioned by moral, which is not? People have struggled and are struggling to decide this.
Which act is sanctioned by morals, which is not? Swami himself says they have struggled and still they are struggling.
So, can we say like this? It's a dharma not to hurt the animals. The butcher will say that is my dharma, killing that animals, and so yeah. So Swami saying, so leave it to me, all dharmas.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brother,
Yes.
I think before me, Anandi was having some question. After her, I go.
Okay.
Sairam, I thought, there is no real conflict between religion and morals. Whatever our interpretation of the religion may be conflicting with the morals, the way we interpret. Otherwise, fundamentally or basically, all religion would lead us to the same point. And if we take if we take each religion and if we maybe the further broken down into the ultimate the bottom line of all religion, it would tell the same thing and it would lead us to the same point. That's why I believe our interpretation of the religion is different. Maybe the people, the Hindus may tell that our religion is better than the Vaishnavas, or maybe in the better than the Buddhism or the Christianity. Only our interpretation is different. Other than that, I could be wrong, but I thought fundamentally or basically all religion taught us the same thing. And even Swami, in one of the maybe the SSC program, all religion, we have nicely compared and contrasted. What would be the difference between each religion and what would be the maybe similarities among all religions and how it leads to the same point. So that's why I thought maybe our interpretation of the religion may be conflicting, but not really the religion is conflicting. Religions and the morals are conflicting. Each religion has has a moral. I thought that that moral is the same for all religion. My interpretation also could be incorrect or in a different view, but that's my interpretation on this one. Thank you, Saira.
See, I think the thinking that all religions are same. I think that's a challenge in sense. For example, Swami says don't eat meat; it's bad. Let's just take that. Just take that. Okay. So Swami says if someone is eating meat, he's a Rakshasa, he's a demon. Okay, these are Swami's words. So now, if a Christian hears this, they will say, how can he say this? Jesus was distributing fish and he ate meat. And then there are people who will say, oh, in Islam, we slaughter an animal on, for Eid, Bakri Eid. You have to find a goat and slaughter. Only then God will be happy. So then how do we reconcile this? So especially the Sathya Sai organization, for example, we say, we believe in all religion are same. So now what do we do at our center? Do we impart this information to a student or not? If we impart it to a Christian student who comes, he's going to say, this is going against my religion. Okay, so this is the conflict. So then what people will say, okay, maybe if everyone has to come, maybe we will allow non-vegetarian prasadam. Okay. We should maybe on Bakrid, we have to celebrate, we will get a goat and slaughter at the center. No, because it is for them, it is a spiritual ritual. So how do we reconcile? This is what it is ultimately boils down to. Because we are trying to please people, and we think we cannot even tell that you are wrong. Your religion is selling wrong. We cannot say. Okay, then what do we do with this?
With the morals, brother.
Pardon?
With the moral education only, we can bring that awareness, right? To think,
No, so,
think the right way, because that is in the practice only. I don't think in depth the religion would say that. So that's the way Swami's basic teaching, love, connect to the morals. Then the religion, whatever the religion saying, they can understand the correct way of what religion is saying. Maybe now they are interpreted wrongly.
what is which interpretation? What is the interpretation? Who is interpreting?
Some religion says, okay, we had to give like a cut meat on the particular day or something. Those things are just a practice, or whoever had that in the they followed something, right? But currently Swami has come to this yuga and given the teaching. Based on that teaching, if you connect from Swami's teaching, that the way they believe will change. That's how I look at it. From Swami's teaching, it will go and change.
Okay, Brother Dasan can talk.
So brother, the cow eat the grass, that is his dharma. So what about the lion or tiger? It's eat the other animal. So that is that
Dharma for the
dharma.
land. Yes.
Yeah. So it's very difficult to challenge with the dharma.
Exactly.
Understand.
So then what do we do now? The question is, what are we to do in a Sathya Sai organization? What are we to do? Let me ask the question.
Yeah. So we have to think killing or hurting any animals is not good. That you have to develop within you. So you can argue in a different way. That's all I can say. Thank you, Brother Sai Ram.
So I think we are not going to find a solution for this, but what Swami has identified here is there will always be a conflict, whereas religion and morals are concerned. We can never reconcile. We can never reconcile. The whole problem comes if we try to push or try to reconcile these conflicting morals, then it becomes a problem. Okay. I just thought I will just, because I think a question was asked, is there no conflict? There is definitely conflict.
Sairam. Oh, sorry.
Sairam, this is Saku auntie.
Please go ahead. Please.
Even though there are Sai devotees, they consume wine and they eat meat. So we cannot say Sai devotees, what will they do? It all depends on each and every individual, how much devotion and trust they have on Swami. That is what will boil down to anyone to follow what Baba says. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you. Thank you, Auntie.
Okay. Auntie, go ahead, please.
Sairam, what Sister Anandi was saying, all religions are same. They are different paths to the same goal. That all we agree. And because they, as Arun pointed out, you know, there are always a conflict between morals. Morals followed by some religion, morals followed by, though the morals are similar and they all say the same thing in different words. And sometimes it is when we try to impose our own dharma, our own morals on others, then comes the conflict. Then comes the problem. That's what Gehana Karmano Gati. That's what Swami is saying. Yeah, Saira.
Thank you, Auntie.
Brother. Again, the morals thing. I totally believe the religions may have different way of practicing, but Swami has come to teach us the basic love. When you go and connect all these practice what they are following, you will understand that interpretation is incorrect. Even for Christianity point of view, I can talk. They say God has created all these things for human. Yes, it is, but not to eat. Okay, no, so that kind of things you have to understand. So how they interpreted, they are doing these kind of things, not because the religion is saying to kill or anything. Yes, the animals dharma, before we go into that, we can fix our human dharma, humans is better. But in this one sentence, Swami, that sentence is a very nice sentence. I really want to understand a little more on that discussion, because Swami says highest dharma for each one to follow their own dharma, then and boldly. That means how that person going to define that I am following the right dharma? Where is this kind of how you are going to define that? I think that's why where the Swami sloka is coming. So your dharma fix the thought on me. So like that, if they do that, then their dharma come bold. This is the way I'm looking at it. Thank you. The whole thing. But in that also, I didn't understand one of the sentence, the truth do declare to thee, before the art dear to me. What that I didn't understand. So in art, if we
translation is now okay. We'll go over that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Saira.
So Swami is basically saying that okay. I think Sister Narm. Oh no.
No, I was going to say, and then like with respect to the eating non-veg and things like that, and I always had a question on that too, because yes, Swami has told us to be vegetarian, and I one point that Auntie Aruna just mentioned. So I was thinking about the places the human live as well, right? Like let's say if you go in the northern part of Canada, where it's like most of the time it's a winter, and where you won't be able to grow vegetables like all throughout, or you won't find all nutritious stuff. And there is where you'll see a lot of the meat consumption is quite high compared to when you come down here. So in those places, would you consider if they eat non-veg, that's not their dharma as a human being also? Because it'll be very tough, right? And like if you look at the evolution of humankind, if you look in the longer time, like if you are in the colder places, you eat meat because to keep yourself sustainable, because you won't find food throughout. But now it might be different nowadays, but vegetarian food might be quite tough to get. I'm looking back in my time as well, like growing up here, when I came in as a vegetarian, when I went to university, it's hard to find vegetarian food in the residence. So I was like, I was looking at even the ingredients. If there is egg, I couldn't eat. So in the residence, there was even the salad dressing had eggs. So I had to move out and live on my own. So there could be, now it's different. You'll find a lot of vegetarian food everywhere. So in those times, would you then what is dharma in that sense? I don't know, I'm just putting it out there because I was just looking at it.
It's a good discussion. I don't know, anyone has something to say to Sister Narmada?
Well, sister, I think it's a karma too. Swami would have put you in the right place if you are doing the right thing. I'm just saying, thank you.
No, I understand. But I know I was looking at my.
I look
when
at
was-
it, anything
yeah.
that, it's a continuous, right? As we studied, the life cycle is this, the life this, and it's continuous forever, right? So where you have left off, we are continuing from there. So that's the way I will look at it at that point of time, because otherwise Swami would have put you in the right place and you are not going through that. So that's something I would say. Thank you.
Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, here the Swami is saying, forget about the dharma. He's not talking about the food, non-veg or vegetarian. Your thoughts supposed to be on me and worship me, and then you will merge on me and surrender everything. Whatever you are doing, you surrender everything. You are not the body. That's all. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, brother. Brother, I think Brother Yoga Kumaran wants to say something.
Sairam, I think the animal, they kill the other animal for only for the food, only when he hungry only, not all the time. Not like the human. Human, KFC and everything everywhere. They are throwing, wasting the food as a food. Even they are available for the other resource of food. When they are killing a lot of animals, but the animal never did it like that. Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. It's okay. Okay. So, I wanted, because I think the question came up, there's all religions are same, there's no conflict, So that's why I thought it would be a good something for us to understand. I think just to add to, I think Sister Aruna has answered Sister Narmada's question, which I sort of agree. The thing is, God puts us in different situations and He gives us the teachings and the situation so that we can practice it. Okay. If Swami has given the same teaching to someone in the North Pole, I'm sure he would have given them the means also to practice it. That's the way God is always. He already provides the environment, and then he says, before you are hungry, the food is already produced. See, for example, for human beings don't realize, like before hunger came, the fruit is already on the tree. But the fruit preparation started decades ago, sometimes 10, 15 years ago, the tree should have grown so that when you are hungry, the fruit is available. So generally for all sadhakas, if the teaching is given, the environment is also provided, then it is just that we have to make that effort to practice it. But unfortunately, sometimes we do engage in academic exercise. Is what Swami is saying practical to everyone in this world? So I think that is something which is an academic exercise. If somebody like that, because then we will never find the solution, because the reality is God will guide them wherever they are. Even if we take Swami has come, and out of the 6 billion people, I'm sure there are people who have come and lived for about 50, 60, 80, 90 years and died. They have never heard of Swami around the world. Okay. Even among people who have access to India or some, it is only, less, maybe 1 million people, maybe 2-3 million people know Swami and are devotees. Okay. So it is a very small, negligible fraction. So the thing is, I think what Swami is teaching us is, even for that negligible fraction, only how many people are just reading Geetha Vahini? So the thing is, it's a smaller. So I think ultimately, if we have got the lesson, and we have to practice, is my view. And I think once we are blessed, we just practice what he says, and that is where I think Swami is taking us next.
Yeah.
Manmana bhava.
Madhyaji.
Auntie, you want to go through the meetings, Auntie? I will just.
Yeah. Okay. Swami has given the meaning itself.
Yes.
Word by word meaning you want, or
just generally, at least 2-3 words, and manmana bhava.
Yeah.
Mad bhakto. Because there is Swami is telling 5 things which we have to do.
Yeah.
Manmana bhava, mad bhakto, matyaji, mam namaskuru, mam eva ishyasi.
Yeah. First is fix your mind on me. and be devoted to me. That's the second one. And do homage to me, or do things which has do homage to me here means Madhyaji. No.
Yes, Tyaji means offer everything to me.
Yaji, yeah. Madhyaji
Yes.
is, it can be interpreted as sacrifice, or it can be interpreted as worship. Worship
Yes.
also. Yagna. Yagna is.
Yes.
Mam namaskuru. So bow down to me.
Yes.
So thou shall reach me. That
Mame
is
Vaishyasi.
Mavaishyasi. Thou shall reach me, and taking me yuktai atmanatmanam mat parayanaha. Taking me as a supreme goal. Taking me to be the supreme goal. If you worship me, you will come to me. That is what Swami is. Do not grieve. Where does it come? Do not
That's
grieve.
Masucha.
Oh, Mame Vaishyasi.
Auntie is the next sloka, Auntie. Sarva Dharman Pratyajya.
Sarva Dharman Pratyajya. Sorry. Yeah. This is the path to come to me. Give up all the dharmas, surrender to me.
Brother, what is the truth? Do declare that I have
Okay,
got
so
it.
see, Swami is telling, Manmana Bhava, let your mind be dwelling on me. Your mind should be on me. Okay. Manmana Bhava. Mad Bhakto, be my devotee. Matyaji Auntie has already said, you whether sacrifice or worship or offer everything to God.
To me.
To God. Mad means me. Mam namaskuru, only bow down to me. Then Mameva Ishyasi, you will reach me.
You will reach me.
Satyam te, it is the truth.
Okay.
Pratijane priyosi me. Okay. Know that. Okay. Priyosi me, who is dear to me. Then you will become dear to me. Priyo asi. Priyosi. Means priyaha asi is priyosi. You will become very dear to me. That's what Swami is saying. Not become, you are dear to me. Priya asi means you are dear to me. Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so, okay.
Oh,
Auntie.
Manmana Pava Makbakto Madhyajiyam Namaskuru Mame Vaishyasi Yuk Atmanam Matparayana Matmana Manada Ennidathu Vaitavanai Makbakta Ennidam Bhakti Udevanai Mathyasi Enporuttu Yagam Sevavanai Pava Avayaha Mam Namaskuru Ennai Namaskari Vanangu Evam Ivaru Matparayana Ennai Peragadiyaga Kondu Atmanam Ullatai Yukva Urdipadati Kondu Mam Eva Ennaye Yasi Adevai. அதாவது மனதை என்னிடம் நிலைநிறுத்தி என்னிடம் பக்தி கொள், எனக்காக யாகம் செய்பவனாகி என்னை நமஸ்கரி, என்னை வணங்கு. இவ்வாறு உள்ளத்தை உறுதிப்படுத்தி என்னையே குறியாக கொண்ட நீ என்னையே வந்தடைவாய். சர்வ தர்மான் பர்த்யச்ச மாமேகம் சரணம் பிரஜ அகம் துவா சர்வ பாபேப்யோ மோஜஸ்யாமி மாசுச. சர்வ தர்மான் எல்லா தர்மங்களையும் பரித்தியாகம் செய்துவிட்டு மாம் ஏகம் என் ஒருவனையே சரணம் பிரஜ சரணம் அடைவாயாக. அகம் நான் துவா உன்னை சர்வ பாபேப்பியோ எல்லா பாவங்களிலிருந்தும் மோட்சஸ்யாமி விடுவிப்பேன். மாசுச கவலைப்படாதே. எல்லா தர்மங்களையும் அறவே தியர்ச்சித்து விட்டுவிட்டு என் ஒருவனையே சரணடைய. உன்னை நான் சகல பாவங்களிலிருந்தும் விடுதலை அளிக்கிறேன். கவலைப்படாதே, வருந்தாதே. பூரண சரணாகதி. சரண்டர். சாய்ரா.
Saira. Before discussing this, one second, Auntie. 1 second. See, before discussing this, maybe we will read the next slide, if it's okay. Because Swami is explaining this to some extent, and then we can discuss. Okay. So, Kalyani, if you can. Okay, please go ahead.
Note the meaning and significance of these stanzas. Isn't this act of surrender enough to save you and to liberate you from the round of coming into staying in, and leaving the world.
Mm.
Here is what the Lord seeks from you. Seeing him in every being, being aware of him every moment of existence, and being immersed in the bliss, ananda, of this awareness. Also, being merged in the relation caused by profound devotion and love to him, and dedicating all acts, big and small, to him, Krishna. Wish, will, attitude, activity, fruit, consequence, dedicating everything from beginning to end. Finally, renunciation of all attachment to the self and performance of all acts in a spirit of worshipful non-attachment. This is what the Lord seeks from you. Of
Okay.
course,
Okay, so I thought Swami has sort of commented on it, so I thought it'll be good.
Yeah.
Now we will open up. Auntie Sakku want to say something, or Auntie Mani Bhashyam.
Sairam, it has cleared. Thank you.
Mm.
My question was all dharma, but he has explained in that passage. Thanks, Sairam.
Sairam, just before move, I just want to clear out on the second and the third. Fix thy thought on me, I can understand. Be devoted to me and worship me. What is the fine difference between the be devoted to me and worship me? Is it the same overlapping, or is the maybe Sushila auntie told some sort of difference, but I couldn't be able to grasp the devoted to me and worship me.
Okay, so the word which Swami has used, or Krishna has used, the word is bhakta.
Okay.
Be my devotee. Okay, mad bhaktaha means be my devotee. Then he says mad yaji. Mad yaji. Yaja means yajna. That's what Auntie was trying, which is sacrificing.
Madhyaji.
Yes.
Madhyaji. That means to yagna. Do
Yeah,
yagna.
yajna. So sacrifice is generally the translation in Sanskrit, sorry, in English, which is offering something on the fire, in the fire, which is generally the way sacrifices. So, so I think there are other places Swami will talk about it. If you look at this next paragraph where Swami is saying, offer everything, your act and your intention, the fruits, the consequences, everything should be offered in the fire. That is sacrifice. Basically you take the fire, everything you offer. That is generally the yajna or yaga.
So that is equivalent to worship me, or?
Yeah.
I think so,
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I don't know whether they have translated every word well.
Yeah.
But then the last one is namaskuru. Do namaskaram to me. Namaskar means bow down to me.
Brother, okay, one more thing. See, these verses, is it trying to define your own dharma, to follow how the own dharma is supposed to be followed? That is, these verses is followed, that mean you are on the right path of following your own dharma. Can we say like that?
See, from but I don't know. I will first go first. In that first words, Swami is not talking about dharma at all. He is just telling, do this, and then you will reach me. So he has even avoided using the word dharma there. He says, if you want to reach me, do all this. Okay, he's telling Arjuna. In the second verse, he is talking about dharma. There he is also saying sarva dharman means give up all dharma. Okay, so Give up all dharma. See, that's the translation as give up all dharmas. Okay. And then he says, Mamekam Sharanam, only surrender to me. Then I will save you from all the sins. The word Swami is using is sins. Okay. I will liberate you from all the sins. You don't have to worry. Okay. This is what Swami is saying. So, so should we give up dharma? Means now everyone will say Swami started the highest dharma. He starts this, the slide, the first line. The highest dharma is to follow one's own dharma. Then he says, give up all dharma. So then it seems very contradictory. So I will just open it up for anyone to discuss.
Before we go to the discussion, I would like to read the exact Telugu translations what Swami has given.
Yes, Auntie, please.
Man manas kudavu. Man manas kudavu. You keep your mind focused on me. Mat priyadavu. Mat bhaktyo. And for that, I think mat priyado. You will become dear to me. Madharadakudavu. Aradakudu. Aradakudu means worship.
Worship me.
Kammu. Na korakoka oka tyagini kammu. Because of me, you've become a tyagi. Sacrifice.
Sacrifice everything. Give up everything.
Naku namaskarinchumo. Madhyaji, that is sacrifice there.
Yes.
That's the exact meaning. Naku namaskarinchumo. Maam namaskuru. నీవు నా దగ్గరికే వచ్చేదవు మామై వైశ్యసి ఇదే నీకు నా బోధన సత్యంతే ప్రతిజానే ప్రియోసిమే నా బోధన నా వాగ్దానము I'm giving
promising. I'm giving you a promise. I'm giving you a word.
Yeah. Then the second sarvadharman parityajya నాకు ప్రియుడువు కమ్ము త్యజించి సర్వధర్మములను పొందుము సర్వధర్మాన్ పరిత్యజ్య నాతోనే శరణ్యం దుఃఖించకు సర్వ పాపల నుండి కీడుల నుండి విముక్తిని చేతును. What you earlier said is the same thing. Second question I wanted to ask you was this manmana bhavat bhakto is found in 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
There are two places. It is two places, Auntie.
18th chapter also we have.
Also it is found, yes.
Little bit difference, I think. There's some
yes,
words.
Yes.
But similar.
Same.
Thank you.
It appears in twice. And Swami gives a lot of importance to this. Even in Geetha Vahini, he's talking about it twice.
Okay. and Krishna has started twice. Why not Sai Krishna?
Exactly. Sai Krishna also talks about it twice in Geetha Vahini. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Brother Dasan.
Sairam, brother, this here, that who is dear to me, that is an important thing. The reason is, in Puttapati, whoever living closer to Swami, not everyone is not dear to Swami. So whoever following their devotion, love, surrender, everything, they are the one supposed to be close to him. If you take a frog or top of the lotus flower, the leaves, it doesn't understand the honey. So same thing, if you want to understand Swami, we have to create, or we have to practice the love and the devotion. Then that is the only way we can go closer to dear to Swami. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you very much, brother. So anyone else want to comment on this? So what is Krishna asking? Or what is Sai Krishna asking? Okay, surrender to me. Then does it mean that we should not do what is dharma? Just say we have surrendered. Sarva dharman. Why all dharmas have to be given up?
Give up the doership. Give up the doership. You are not the doer. Everything is done by His will. Whatever act I do, whatever consequences I face, everything is yours, Bhagawan. Say that. That is the ultimate surrender. Okay, next.
Okay, so I mean, Swami is explaining this little for in many other ways also. I think we will come across. But I think, see, actually, if you look at the first one, Swami is saying the highest dharma for everyone to follow their own dharma code. Okay, that translation doesn't do justice because Swami has used the word swadharma. Swadharma, many people think my dharma means I am a householder, so that's my dharma. I am a Brahmana or a Kshatriya, that is my dharma. I go to work and that's my, my work is my dharma. I'm a parent, I'm a student, all that we think, and we think that is Swadharma. Because Swami, if Dharma Vahini has said, you are Swadharma, that you are Atman. If you live as an Atman, then that is. Then actually the Sarva Dharman and that are related because what is Sarva? Because Dharma is only one, which is Swadharma. But the thing is, we have many Dharma, Varna Dharma, Ashrama Dharma, like that. So these are dharmas which relate to the world. But what Swami is saying, if you are in the world, follow the Dharma of the world. But when you come to me, you follow the Atma Dharma.
Yeah.
So there you don't worry about it. That's Switcher. Don't unnecessarily worry. Have you surrendered to me? I will take care of it. Even if you do an adharmic act. So that's what, Swami says, Papa. That means there may be possibility because sometimes we don't want to do anything wrong because we are worried about sin. Okay. But he says, once you have surrendered to me, once you are thinking only of me, once you are offering everything to me, once you don't have anything else, then you can give up everything else and just surrender. Okay, see, these have to be taken together. We can't say we are not, see, what Manmana Bhava means our mind should always be engrossed in him. Okay. Until we reach that, we should not start giving up dharma, the world dharma. That's what I understand from there. Because the first, as Sister Aruna asked, is this the dharma? She asked. If you are a devotee, that is the dharma. Think of me all the time. Offer everything to me. Be my devotee. See, when we say my devotee means what is my devotee? Whatever I say, you do. Then as Brother Thasan did, then you become dear to me. See, the thing is we will read what Swami said and then we have to go and ask somebody else to confirm, then only we will do. Then Swami will ask, are you my devotee or their devotee? Swami says sometimes people are reading books and because of that they say we believe in Sai Baba. Then Swami says they are not my devotees. They are the devotee of the book. Because the book said so, they are believing me. Or they go to X, Y, or Z, they say, then we believe you. Then he says, then you are not my devotee, you are their devotee. Whatever they say, you are listening. And one day they will say something, you will listen. One day they will say something else, then you will. So don't be devotee of anyone else, only devotee to me. So that's my understanding. So I stop here. Anyone else want to comment, please?
It's very nice. Thank you. That's, yeah, thank you.
Swami is talking about this again. Swami's favorite two verses.
So one more thing, brother, when we do the offering and surrender, we eventually the viveka and vairagya is going to be improved. So before food or any object you're going to offer or you're going to surrender, then the discrimination will develop within you. Then at the same time, the vairagya, eventually it will lead to the vairagya. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you. So just to, the thing is, even if we want to be dear to Swami, I think Brother Dasan, you nicely said, So whatever we do, we have to ask the question, can Swami be part of it? Can I offer it to Swami? Will he accept it? You know, if I cook food, then the first question is, what does Swami like? You know, I think all traditions, you know, whatever the Lord who you're worshipping, they will say, oh, Ganesha likes modakam, and then we offer it. So the same way, if we ask, this is what Swami wants, then that's what I cook every day and offer. See, the devotion is we loving God so much that we will do anything which he likes. So we will always find out what does he want us to do. We will do it. All that is covered in this. And then we don't have to worry somebody else said this is right or wrong. The whole problem comes, you know, Swami says something. Then we want some corroboration or we want to a second opinion. Then Swami will say, do you want my opinion or a second opinion? So I think even if we understand it wrongly, I think it's okay. Swami will fix it. But I think ultimately that devotion, that love, what does he want? We have to find out and then we do it. I think that's what Swami is looking for. Yeah, others may say what you are doing is wrong also. You know? In this case, Arjuna, people say you don't fight. But Krishna said fight, so he said okay. So I don't know, I'm talking too much. Others are all keeping quiet. Maybe because I'm talking. Anyone else would like to comment something, please? I will stop here. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. I think we read it half at least.
Can you just also just dwell a little bit on what does it mean to, you know, with the one where it says bow down to me or bow down only to me?
Anyone who would like to, this is, you know, Navavidha Bhakti Vandanam. Okay. So anyone who would like to comment on that? So no one is volunteering. So, you know, I will have to fill the silence, I guess. See, bow down to me is namaskuru. Nama is, you know, for every, you know, nama also means not me. Okay. Mam namaskuru means we should at all points, we should think that he is the doer. You know, he is the one who is the master. I am nobody. You know, sometimes we think we are making the decision. So that is complete negation of who we are as per people. That is what is nama. Swami says, ma stands for mamakara. Nama means no mamakara. Nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to the Lord. Number one. Number two, Swami also says, whatever you do, you think you are doing as an offering to me. Okay, as you are taking the command. Okay, at every point you should remember and bow down to him, his will. Things like that. Of course, people take it as, you know, you do 108 times, you have to, you know, do namaskaram, you know, ashtanga, you know, panchanga namaskaram or something like that. But that is only a practice to remind ourselves to bow down. Bow down also means we don't bow, we only bow down when our ego is gone. We are nobody. You know, when you bow down to somebody, that means I am nobody. Okay. So I think that is what Swami has talked about it in other places. So I am just telling you. So it is not that we go and do each time we fall down on the floor and, you know, falling down is right, but it should remind us that means I am nobody. Let me take myself so down and I only let your will prevail. And that is the namaskuru. So that we have to remind us. That's my understanding, sister. Others can comment, please, Sairam.
So Sairam, brother, that's what bow down or surrender. We surrender our 5 pranas and our intellect, mind, even ourselves. That is a real surrender. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sairam, uncle, you had mentioned how even when we read Swami's teachings, like each of us could interpret things in a different way, but we should just, you know, go with our own interpretation of it, like what we feel is true. And then if we're wrong, Swami will correct us. So I guess following that same line of thought, does that mean that, like we really can't judge anybody else saying that what they're doing is adharmic? Because that, like, when they read Swami's teachings and if that's the message they get, then they're following their own swadharma?
Very good question, sister. I will open it up. How do we deal with it? How do we deal in this situation? I will open it up for.
Swami is teaching us not to be judgmental, not to be judge others by our own standards. They have their own standards and they are following their dharma. So we have no business to judge others saying that you are wrong and I am right. That's what I understand, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else?
Sairam Arno. You
Yes.
remember the Kubera? One time Bhima went there to see Kubera for food, and Kubera on the way he picked up the rice grains from the floor, and Bhima got shocked. How come this guy going to serve me because he picking the rice grain from the floor? And then he reached him and asked him, Krishna sent us to get food from you. And the Kubera said, yes, we have a bag of rice and you take whatever you want. And Bhima said, on the way there's a big ditch, so the cart can't cross the place. Then Kubera said, put 2 bags of rice and fill up the hole and take the cart right over there. And Bhima got shocked and he said, you picking the grains from the floor and one by one, and you say you fill up the hole and the 2 grains of bags of grains and go right over that ditch and reach the place and feed the people. What is this? And Kubera said, this is the place the people are hungry. So that is our first target to finish. So whatever we can use, you can use. That's what he said. Like that is very wonderful thing. I learned from the radio side.
Sairam, brother, Sairam. Anyone else would like to comment on this? What do we do? How is dharma to be evaluated as far as we are concerned and others?
The intention, brother. The intention supposed to be in a good thoughts and words and deeds that will align to be in the right path. So Swami always says that, and ignorance need to be removed. All these negative quality to be removed, to say that is not judgmental. That's in order to be removed to see what they are doing is right or wrong. So I and ignorance, and they have to discriminate and and do everything with a good intention that will show the right path. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam.
Sairam, my thoughts on this one. Swami even added maybe the boldly here the highest dharma is for each one to follow his swadharma boldly. That means that if, say for an example, if I think this is right according to my dharma, and if it doesn't hurt anyone according to my personal assessment or anything, then you have to have that dharma boldly, because of other people they have said, don't change or that one. Otherwise, what would be the importance Swami has given by saying boldly, the already maybe Sister Kalyani also indicated that the Swadharma only according to my circumstances and according to my condition. If I think that if that is my dharma, then no one can judge that, because they don't know under what condition I am doing that, or as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, it doesn't harm anyone. If something is defined as is my dharma, then then I will be I should be very firm on that Swadharma. That's my understanding from this one, because no one else can judge or justify what is my dharma. Maybe they can justify their dharma, but no one can justify except me, my dharma. It's really difficult. Even the maybe theoretically or practically, it's very, very difficult thing. If someone told something, only to surrender everything to Swami, that is the easiest thing. Otherwise, it's really difficult thing.
I would like to add one more thing. When you think as I and my, is I conscious is there and my mamakaram is there. So Swami word here is the own dharma. That is an atmic dharma. That's supposed to be connect with the God. And what is that sloka says, that's why your own dharma comes from. But when you think as I and my, that is not right thing to do. Thank you, Saira.
Brother Dasan.
Yes, Sairam brother, if you have any doubts or any misagreements with the Swami's teaching, you have to apply the three Karna Sutti. Whether your words are correct, your thoughts are correct, deeds are correct, you can identify the person he is doing wrong. His consciousness will tell you if any arguments comes. This is easy to identify. This is we can put it as an attend self. Thank you.
Sairam, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to comment?
Sai Ram, brother, I think we all have this inner voice and conscience if we always, bow down to God, and if we are in doubt and we listen to our inner silence and guidance. And I think our conscience does guide us, and we know if we are doing wrong and we know if we are doing right. And if we listen to that voice, we do make the right decision. And it could be like 1 out of 100 times that we need that question, like Arjun wanted to know if he should fight or not. But 99% of the times we know, and we are guided by the mind, not the brain or the heart. We know if we are doing right or wrong, I think.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to share anything?
Sairam, I agree with Anita, and that each person should plan his life according to the spiritual foundation of his culture, and he should give up the objective vision and listen to the voice of God. And if we listen to the voice of God, we will lead the dharmic life. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else would like to?
Because Brother Arun, I was also listening to that, when you were saying that food was there before we even got hungry. Our cells were there before we were formed as a body. And there is something called the intelligence of the body that God has given us. And every cell has intelligence and every cell has conscience. I firmly believe we do make mistakes, and we make those mistakes. I think whenever I've done mistakes, it's consciously. We know what we're doing wrong and we know what we're doing right. Whether we say a white lie or not the entire truth, even when disease forms, your body tells you when you're getting diseased, but we ignore that. And I think it's the same thing with conscience as well. Sairam.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Anyone else? So it's about 4:23. Maybe I will just, Kalyani, I think you have asked a question. I don't know if we will exhaust it today, but I think others have definitely shared their thoughts, and we can continue from this point. But I think just whatever struck me, I thought I would just share. I think your question is, as Sister Anita and I think Auntie also mentioned, 90% of the time we know what we have to do and we can do, and that's a little simpler. If we follow our conscience, then we know that, I think it's fine. Then a situation comes when there are interactions between others, because ultimately in life there are interactions with others. We do things together with others. There we may have to judge the action, not the person, but this act, is it dharmic or not? Because if we are joining and doing something, we need to have clear in our own mind whether it is dharmic according to our moral compass. And then if we find that act is not dharmic according to our moral compass, then we have a choice to dissociate from that action. And if the others are indulging in that action, it doesn't really matter to us, okay, in general. But then there's another element. What do we do when we observe others indulging in bad action? That is also a category. And that is where Arjuna was when the Gita was taught. So if you ask, Krishna is telling, that you're fighting for dharma. You're fighting to establish dharma in the society, and that is your duty. And when that is your duty, you have to call out and say, there are some actions of some people which are not right, and we have to set that right as a Kshatriya. And if you look at Bhishma, that was, in Draupadi was being derobed, and he just kept quiet. He said, dharma is complicated. That's all he told. Then Draupadi asked him, is it right? Bhishma said, no, it's very complicated. So there he didn't take a stance. He didn't say anything. He didn't stop the act. Okay. So the thing is, there are situations where we have to do something. Not necessarily we hate the other person, but the act is not dharmic. Okay. So do we have to evaluate that? I think we have to evaluate. But then sometimes when we evaluate and do something, we may be wrong also. As Sister Anita said, sometimes we may make mistakes. But then that's when we have to offer that to also the Lord. Oh Lord, I'm doing this. I'm not really sure whether I'm completely right, but I firmly believe that this is what you want me to do. You would want me to do. I will do it to the best of my knowledge. So it's ultimately our actions are based on our own moral compass. Okay, and that's all. Others will follow theirs and do theirs, and they have to face the consequences themselves. But I think that there are times when we may have to evaluate the activity or action or the decision as to whether it's dharmic or not. But in the end, once you make the decision, you do whatever you were and then offer everything to the Lord. I think that is the safety valve. And of course, if it's wrong, he is going to dish out some corrective, disciplining or some punishment. We should be willing to receive it. When we say surrender, we should be willing to take the punishment also gladly. Oh Lord, you know what is good for me. This is what I have to get it. I will accept it. If I fail, yes, Auntie, go ahead.
If you go and tell the other person what he is doing is adharmic, do you think that it's acceptable? In return, you will get whatever you deserve. That's all.
Yes, they will dish out, but then we should be able to see. That is why Sister Ananti has already pointed out. You have to follow it boldly. That's what she said. So boldly means there is sometimes some courage is needed. You may have to, take a few blows to yourself, to your body, but that's part of life. It's not Arjuna. Everything was rosy for Arjuna in the battlefield. He lost his family. He's lost his son. He also. So it is not easy. The battle of life is also not easy. But But what he did was he tried to follow Krishna as much as possible, accepted his guidance. Maybe not everything turned out, but I think in the end, whatever said and done, whether they lost, whatever they lost, whatever they gained, they had Krishna. Krishna was always with them. And ultimately, that's all mattered.
Yeah, that's it.
So brother, I just thought, I thought when we surrender everything to Lord, we will not be punished. Now, now I am thinking that even if we surrender, anything, everything to the Lord, maybe if our maybe the intention maybe may or may not be knowingly done, sometimes we could be punished too. Yeah.
See, the Atma will never be punished.
Yeah.
So who will be punished then? The body will be punished,
of course.
Maybe the body will be punished, yeah, for the action it has done it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use the word punished. Maybe we have to face some hardships. The punishment seems like a bit harsher. I think it's more like hardship, not punished. I think.
Yeah, I am little scared.
See, one question, I'll just will close. I will just tell one small incident. Once, students Swami will ask questions. So once one student asked, Swami, in the Mahabharata war, see, Dharmaraja always followed Dharma. Okay, but he had to go after, when he died, he had to go to the hell once. Okay, the reason that the boy had learned was that he told a lie in the battlefield. Okay, and Swami is, he told the lie only because Krishna told. Okay, so then why didn't Krishna spare him of that experience of going to hell? So that was the question asked. People ask tricky question to Swami, and then Swami, of course, he has answers. He said, yes, why Dharmaraja went to hell? Because he always thought he listened to Krishna, but he always thought that he told a lie. He had a sense of doership. Of course, he has to face the consequence. Because he said, I am following the Lord, but I am the one who is telling. It is my action. That little bit of doership landed him into a little bit of trouble. Of course, then Krishna took him back, but that's beside the point. But that was a small story I thought I would just share.
That's why the Arjuna, see the crows, parrot is a crow.
Yes.
Krishna twists all the time. He said yes, 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 yes. Because that's why they're comparing the Dharmaraja and Arjuna is different.
Exactly.
Saira.
Okay, so it's past 4:30. If it's okay, it's a very intense discussion because the entire Gita is about this only. We will continue where we left off. We are leaving off. If everyone is okay, we'll close with Samastaloka and Shanti. Saira. Oh. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Samastaloka sukhino bhavantu. Oh. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, Sairam.
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 Thank you, Sairam.
Right.